Reimagine to redesign. Gather all the old decor you can find. Let your imagination be your guide. Tune into Angie's YouTube channel for a little inspiration. Create your own unique design. Now you can reimagine to redesign. Remember to subscribe and like.
Hi friends, thank you for joining me today. I'm Angie and this is Reimagine to Redesign. If this is your first time joining me, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much. You have so many different choices on YouTube and they're all great, but I'd like to thank you for choosing me for this little bit of time today before the holidays to join me for some holiday decorating. If you would, please subscribe. Give me a like and a comment. I would love to hear your thoughts on the space that we're going to do today. This is my husband's man cave. My husband retired in May of this year, and we did this last year, so it would be all ready for him to have a space to come in that was all his own, and he could get away from me, I guess. Anyway, I just want to thank you so much. I want to thank again my cousin, who is a singer-songwriter, for that little jingle that she wrote me. That's how I started my show today, and I'm going to be using that for a long time to come because I really like that and I appreciate her. Her name is Tina Honeycutt, and I really appreciate that. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to kind of show you some things. A lot of times in a space like this, if you have a space like this, you think, well, I'm just going to use whatever's left over. And actually, that's kind of what I did. I had a few little purchases that we made, but mostly it's things that I don't, that I thought, I'm not going to use that. I'll put that out in the cave. And so we just kind of, that's what we did. But anyway, I'm going to take you around this room. I'm not real sure we've ever really toured each little part of this room. So that's what we're going to do today. This is just a little trunk that last year, unbeknownst to me, he had my Christmas present hid in there for a very long time. And he has his favorite chair right here. And so he does come out here occasionally. And one day last week, I think, I didn't know where he was. And so I thought maybe he'd gone fishing or he'd run up to the store to get some gas or something like that. And so I came out here and I was going to turn on the lights and the heater, and I opened the door and there he was. I said, well, you're out here. He said, yep, I am. So this is his spot. Now he loves to hunt and fish and play golf. And so when we lived in our larger home and we had higher ceilings, I had one of these over the fireplace, and then he had an office in the house that had a vaulted ceiling, and I had the other one hanging in there. Well, I didn't, and it looked very pretty, but I had a formal living space at that time, and then we had a warm family den. And so they both look, I decorated with them, and they looked very beautiful in those spaces. But our ceilings in this little house are just 8 feet, except for in the living room. And I didn't want my whole focus in the house to be around Buck 1 and Buck 2. So I actually got this idea from it's a conglomeration of several different houses. As a matter of fact, one of them's like 5 farmhouses and one of them's 12 farmhouses. But they had gone down a little path, and I assumed it was kind of a man cave, but it was much larger than this man cave is, if indeed that's what it was. It might have been a little guest house because they don't talk on those videos. They only play music. But it's farmhouse, and it's several different houses together. But they had one deer hung over the other deer, kind of in a corner where, you couldn't gourd yourself with them, because ordinarily you wouldn't be able to do that in a spot that you might not have to worry about at least grandchildren hurting themselves. And so I think they look really pretty there. We got this lamp, I believe we got this at Wayfair. and it points different directions. So we've got one on buck 1 and one on buck 2, and then one on the secretary right here. I didn't mention these curtains. These aren't actually curtains. I think I've told you before that a lot of times I just buy, when I see a fabric that's in a color that I really, really love, I'll just buy yards and yards and yards of it and save it and try to decide what to do with it. And sometimes I drape it over a table. Sometimes I use it as a valance, or sometimes I'll use it as drapes. And so that's what I've done here with this fabric. This is a secretary that belonged to my grandmother and granddaddy. You have heard me mention a lot of different things. They all are sentimental pieces, and I just really love incorporating those in what I call urban cottage decor, because I don't have a lot of antique pieces, but the ones that I do have are all sentimentally significant. And so you can incorporate them, I believe, into just about any design. There might be some styles you couldn't incorporate it into, but if it's important enough to you, I say put something around it or on it that will bring it into the decoration with the rest of your room. Okay, then I got this great big bell last year at Walmart, and I say this all the time. Walmart, I was there last night with my husband and I were there, and they just keep getting better and better with their Christmas decor. And I would like to add that you can find just about anything on their website. So they are just really great about that. And then we had one more. This is an English mount. What is this called, honey?
Antler mount.
Just an antler mount. When you have just the skull right there, it's called an English mount. I knew that. How about that? Okay, and then we've just got his little setup out here for when he comes out here with his poker buddies. Okay, we've got some man cave rules here. We've got a Santa Claus up here. I don't even know how long I've had him. It's been a long time. This little North Pole post box, I think I got that at Hobby Lobby last year. I might not have. And then these are so popular. And at first I was like, I don't get it. You know, it's kind of like those other long-legged things. I don't get it. But I like it now. This is just a deer skin that my husband got. And I just draped it over another trunk that we keep games and things out here so we can play games. This was what my husband's buddies gave him when he retired, and it's got a little plaque for his service that he did at the school district. And so we really enjoyed that. This sofa came from Big Lots, if you can believe that, and so did this ottoman. And I would like to say that I really miss Big Lots. This is a live edge shelf that my husband installed right here. And like I said, I may be telling you things I've explained to you before. I really can't remember. But he just put some sealer on this and some really strong brackets and put this up here, and it just fits so well. And so I usually have different decor up here. We've got some pictures of the Three Stooges with golf clothes on and everything. But at Christmas, I try to put some various things out here. This is a picture, I think I got that at TJ Maxx. This is a piece of driftwood we got at on his brother's land out in West Texas, and a huge golf tee that came off of a game or something. I just added a little greenery. Believe I got these trees, but these are kind of everywhere now. I see these everywhere and in graduated sizes, but I believe I got these at Home Goods. This picture I actually made. I got this frame at a thrift store, and I believe it was a picture of a bicycle. I got a thing for bicycles. And so I got this tree and this tree, and this tree I actually broke off of a little stand and glued it on here. But I just painted this picture with a chalk black paint and hot glued these three trees like this. These were little Christmas ornaments, and I got those. And then these, I think, came in a bag of a bunch of different trees. Anyway, I just glued those so it would look a little more, give it a little dimension, and added those. And this fell off of a nightlight, so I put it down there because I think it's cute. Okay, and I think, yeah, this was something I broke off. This was a tree kind of like this, and I just broke off the bottom of it because it wasn't very expensive. But these, I think, were something that you could actually paint. It was, for kids to decorate or whatever. This, I don't think I said anything about this. This is a kind of a long, narrow tray, and it's got reindeer on it. That was $50, and I got that last year from Home Goods. This is a little fireplace. I just think this is so cute. This is a little fireplace that I got at Dollar Tree for $5. They have those end caps where they have things that are a little more expensive. And then these are a couple of turkey plumes that my husband had done after he got those. There's my other tree, just a little greenery here. This is something that his sisters made to sell at some craft fairs. And so that's Santa with his little, and his sisters are very creative. And after his mom and dad passed and they sold that house, because that's the house they all grew up in. He has 6 brothers and sisters, so there were 7 children. And they grew up in a little house that was not much bigger than the one that he and I live in. It was 1,800 square feet. 1,100 square feet, I'm sorry. But when they sold that house, his youngest sister put the address of it on there and put all their names on it and everything. So that's real precious to him. This was a mirror that my mom bought when I was a little girl. I've had it several different colors, but I put it back gold because I'm on a gold kick now. But when we moved all the time when I was a little girl. I was in sometimes 3 different schools in a school year. But when we moved, as soon as my mom hung that mirror, I knew we were home wherever we lived. And so that's very precious to me. This is a little lamp that I got that was not this color. I got it at a Habitat for Humanity, and I just have enjoyed the heck out of that little lamp. I just love it. There's something, I think I saw lamps like that in old Doris Day movies, and I love it. And then this is just a tiered table that was my mom and dad's. This is a really neat thing. When my husband retired, because he would tell everybody he was going to play golf, they gave him this Yeti that says, "The legend has retired, not my problem anymore." They gave him that, and they all signed golf balls or golf tees. See, some of the tees are signed too. So I just put them in this jar out here for him so he could just always remember all those people that he worked with and cared about and everything. Okay, and so I believe I have shown you all these things some of these things before, because I've told you about this bank of cabinets. This is where I keep my Christmas decorations. And up here I've got one of his ducks that he got one time, some old Western books that were my dad's, and a clock that we bought when we bought our first house. And then Believe, and here's a fish that he caught. That's a Etsy download over there. And then this is a lamp or a ceiling fixture that we got at Wayfair, and it raises and lowers. And so when you're playing cards, that's really neat. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to pull it down, and can you get a picture of your picture over the table? I've always thought the dogs playing poker were cute, but we really thought Santa playing poker with the dogs was really, really cute. Okay. So I just raised that, don't I? Yeah. Uh-oh. Did I pull it too far? No. Uh-oh. Okay. So he's really enjoyed this lamp. It's slowly sliding back up. Okay. I think I told you about this that I had made of my husband. This is his peppermint suit, and you can't see it. As a matter of fact, it might not even be on right now, but it lights up. He got that at Sam's 4 or 5 years ago, and he was standing like that when somebody took his picture. And so, see, that's life size, and it's just cardboard. It's very thin. It's not even a quarter of an inch. So he stores really well too. And you don't have to get a picture of somebody you know or love. You can also get like Elf from the movie Elf. You could get one time for my boss, he loved Big Bang Theory. And so I ordered him a Sheldon and I put it by his chair. It was his birthday. And I put it by his chair and it said, "Do not sit in my spot." And so he just about lost it when he walked in his office that morning and saw that. So you can get those things, and they're not that expensive. They're about $70, but you can use them over and over and over. So anyway, this was a great big wreath that I used last year, and I had a lot of different sticks and frosted things in there. Took all those out. This is that cork ribbon that I showed you when I showed you my haul that I had and my Christmas ideas. And then these are two little snowshoes that I stuck in here. Those lights actually light up. I forgot to turn them on. Those little sticks right there light up. But anyway, they're snowshoes, and I just stuck those there in that wreath. This tree I have had, I don't know if anybody remembers the store Best Products, but that's where this tree came from. So this is old. But one of my third granddaughter, she always loved this tree. And she just would tell me all the time how much she loved it. So 2 years ago, I got on eBay and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try to find one of those trees. And I found one. It's one of those fiber optic things. And so it turns and changes changes colors. And so she was really thrilled to get that, I think. So, and I've just got that. Let me say something about this little table. I have a friend, I've mentioned her before. She taught me how to sew. She taught me how to cover furniture. She taught me so many things. She's my friend that decorated every inch of her house for Christmas. And when she moved to Pennsylvania, she had one room that she kept Santa Clauses, which she was filled with Santa Clauses all year long. And I loved that. I thought that was so cool. When she moved away from me, we exchanged little gifts, and she gave me this little table. And I have had that table now. Let's see, my son was probably 5. So I've had that little table for 35 years. And every time I look at it, I think about her. So many things make me think of her, but that especially. This is this is just a pad that's on the top of this round table, which would be great for card playing. I don't like to play on my wood tables, even if they're sealed well. I just don't like to do that. The only table I really just don't worry about is whatever I'm using as a coffee table, because little kids like to run their cars on it and kids like to play dominoes. And so I don't do the fancy coffee table thing. I'll do something that I can take off the coffee table and then they can do what they want to it. But I like to have pads on the other tables. And so we got this from Amazon, and it's a poker top. And so, you play any card game on top. This is just one of the little, I can't even think what that vase is called right now. My mind has gone blank. And this is another one of those deals that I forgot to turn on. There we go. And these are a couple of, it's 2 just pine cone bushes. Those are little tiny pine cones. The ones that are even smaller than that and tighter are hemlock cones. Anyway, Granddaddy got a nice-ish out here. And these are coasters that my daughter-in-law gave him for Christmas last year. We thought those were so cute. She got those on Amazon. We've got our TV on the fireplace channel. This, for some reason, we need to figure out what this top part's problem is. But this is, I always wonder if I do that, if it'll help. Nope. This is a little train that we got this year when we went to Canton, which is a big flea market here in East Texas, and kind of northeast Texas, I guess you'd say. And I'm already having thoughts about what to do with that one for next year. And then behind it, I've just got a garland with some of these are, I think all of these are decorative. None of these are real. These are all decorative antlers that I've got all around it. This is a garland that I believe I got that at Kirkland's. And some red berries. These red berries I got at Pop Shelf. Uh-oh. And then down here, maybe if you'd sit down right there, you could get it better. Okay. That is that book stand I got at Amazon. I think it was $15 when I got it, but it's been a couple of years. That's my husband's family Bible. And that's an angel, or that actually is Virgin Mary there. That's there by the Bible. And then in this dough bowl here, I've just got, now those are real antlers with some pine cones and a little spray there. The last time my sons were out here, I had this quilt laying here, and they saw how old it was and all the stitches on it and everything. And they said, "Where did that quilt come from?" And I said, "Actually, that's a funny story. That quilt was one that my pawpaw's girlfriend made him." And they just died laughing because they knew their mama very well. She could be a stinker, but she was very, very funny. And they said, "Ooh, I bet that makes them for some good arguments." So anyway, we're just about done. This is the refrigerator that I bought my husband last year. It's a little throwback, little retro refrigerator from Home Depot. We got this from Home Depot. It's a Frigidaire. And we've just really enjoyed having that second little refrigerator. We used to have another large refrigerator out in the garage, and it went out. And so we really enjoyed having this second little refrigerator. My daughter-in-law told me, said, "Yeah, if you ever really want John to stay out in his man cave for very long, just put a whole cheesecake out there. You won't see him for a long time." I said, "Well, I guess that's true." And she consequently gave us this little deer last year that's sitting up here. And what did I say? Deer. Oh, I do know that this is a bear. And then this wreath I got at Lowe's several years ago, but I really like that. It's all pine cones, and I thought it went really well out here. And so that's it for the man cave. And if you have any questions or comments, I'll do another one about the man cave when it's not decorated for Christmas. But we really enjoy this room, and I know he does. So I hope you can get some ideas from that. If you have a man who's got deer that you'd like to do something a little bit different with it, well, put them in a corner and layer them and stick his recliner in front of it. Okay. Thanks again so much for joining me today. I hope that you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope you're getting some great holiday inspiration. And my husband and I did a little Black Friday shopping, but we did it from our recliners. And so it was wonderful. I guess you noticed that I have on a turtleneck and another sweater. We're actually having cool weather here in East Texas. It is 39 degrees outside and with a wind chill of 24. And honey, for us, that is cold. So I hope you have a great day. Thanks for joining me.
Reimagine to redesign.